This is Huberman. This man is the anti-Huberman. Apparently, this man hasn't slept in 60 years. All the health gurus on social media would have a heart attack if they watched this video. Don't smoke, don't drink, eat healthy, sleep well. In one ear and out the other. This man doesn't care at all about health and wellness. So a little background on this guy. His name is Thai Ngoc, and he's from Vietnam. He fought in the Vietnam War, which they call the American War, where he's from, in Vietnam, which makes sense. And apparently this guy hasn't slept in 62 years, and no one knows why. He just doesn't sleep. According to himself, his wife, his son, his friends, he gets zero shut-eye every night. Now, the Guinness World Record for the longest time a human being has gone without any sleep is 11 days and 25 minutes. I can barely last 11 hours. So you can imagine why I'm skeptical that this guy hasn't slept in 60 years. Let's have a look at what's going on. Now, given his background and story, it does seem like he may be suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and some kind of anxiety disorder from the war, because that's when he states all those restless nights started. Now, I don't mean to minimize or poke fun at insomnia, because obviously it's a very serious condition that has a massive effect on energy levels and just quality of life in general. And obviously, to be diagnosed with insomnia doesn't mean you have one night of restless sleep because, your baby was crying in the other room or you had a fight with your spouse or something like that. Acute insomnia or short-term insomnia is when you have insomnia 3 days out of the week. It then becomes chronic insomnia when those symptoms last for over 3 months. Okay, now let's dive in on some details for sleep habits. So Andrew Huberman states you want around 15 minutes of sunlight every morning when you wake up. So you want to kind of wake up, go outside and get 15 minutes of sunlight, not directly staring at the sun, but just kind of looking in that direction. And the reason for this is that it helps stabilize your cortisol levels and gives you energy throughout the day, and also helps better schedule your circadian rhythm. He also mentions avoiding caffeine or coffee for the first 90 minutes after waking up, and also avoiding coffee or caffeine after 2 p.m.
We're also out of coffee.
He also states it's good to exercise in the morning and avoid alcohol at all costs, because there is really no health benefit, as we've seen in recent studies. And so alcohol itself has a major impact on sleep quality. No amount of alcohol is good for you. Recent studies have shown that any amount of alcohol does disrupt quality of life and definitely interferes with deep sleep and quality of sleep. Even 1 glass a day, definitely if you're binge drinking, it's even worse, but you want to avoid it as much as possible. Now, all amounts of alcohol is unhealthy, but the risks of causing serious harm are greatly reduced if you drink less than 14 drinks per week for men and 7 drinks per week for women. Spread out over the week, of course. You can't pound 13 shots of tequila on a Saturday night and think you won't end up in the hospital. You will. Now, in terms of sun exposure, I would say less than 1% of the world's population actively wakes up and goes outside and stares at the sun for 15 minutes or however long it should be. Very small amount of us actually do this. Now, I've noticed that on mornings that I wake up and I go for a walk, or I do actually go outside in my backyard and kind of just, enjoy the sun or whatever, I do feel better for that day. I feel more motivated, I feel more energized, I feel more ready to tackle the day. However, it is difficult to do this on a daily basis, to do this every single morning. But on days that I do it, I have noticed an improvement, and I am trying to implement it on a daily basis, and everyone should as well, because I think the benefits are very good. Now, it's a similar thing with cold showers.
Cold showers? They're for psychotics.
Well, I take them.
It's been shown that cold showers up to 3 minutes or even longer, or cold exposure for up to 10 minutes has very good benefits on your dopamine and norepinephrine levels, and kind of again provides you with energy and motivation for the day. And again, the days that I have done this, I have definitely felt a difference and have felt better. But it is difficult to implement on a daily basis. A lot of dedication and personal accountability has to be taken to achieve this level of discipline. For example, how many of us are waking up on a cold winter day, ready to hop out of bed and dive into an ice bath? But as I mentioned previously, my goal is to change my behavior and implement these things on a daily basis in the next 3 to 4 months. He did not change anything. Now, in terms of coffee, I'm not a huge coffee drinker myself. I don't drink it on a daily basis, just kind of randomly here and there when I'm feeling frisky. But I can imagine for those that drink 1 cup every single day, or even 2 or 3 cups every day, it being very, very difficult to avoid caffeine or coffee for the first 90 minutes after waking up. I can't imagine that being a difficult thing. And again, it requires discipline to be able to not drink for the first 90 minutes so that your adenosine levels don't stay stagnant and cause an afternoon crash, which is very common with caffeine intake. Now, if you're a fan of tracking your sleep quality like myself, then I have an app here for you that I am quite fond of. Unfortunately, I am not sponsored or affiliated with them in any way, but nonetheless, I will mention the app. It's called Sleep Cycle. This app tracks your sleep on a nightly basis, and you can input if you had alcohol, you ate late, you had tea, you took magnesium, or whatever to see how that affects your sleep. Okay, now back to my guy Thai Nok, who hasn't slept in over 60 years. Apparently, he doesn't eat either. He smokes and he drinks, but he doesn't eat or sleep. He also works every single day and is 50 pounds soaking wet. I don't know how this guy's enjoying life. Now, the guy who made this video, his name is Drew Binsky, and he has a great YouTube channel. I highly recommend you check it out. But in the time that he's hanging out with Thai Nok in this video, it doesn't seem like Thai Nok is depressed or emotionless or anxious, anything like that. He seems fine on the surface. I don't know how he's feeling on the inside, but on the surface, he does seem okay. But he could be putting an act on for the 24 hours that Drew was there for this video. So I'm not sure if he's bottling his emotions inside, which is not causing him to sleep, or if he's actually superhuman.
It looks like you got pajamas on. You ready for sleep? Ah. Sleepy time.
Okay, so he's not superhuman. He does actually want to sleep, which begs the question. Does he take small micro naps throughout the day or at night for an hour or so and claim that he doesn't sleep at all? We've all had nights like this, being stressed from school or work or just life in general. There will always be those days where you seem like you just can't shut off your brain no matter how hard you try. Tossing and turning, tossing and turning. Now imagine this feeling every night for many, many years. That's how this guy feels. He can't get any sleep. Instead, all those hours that he should have been sleeping, he used to get better and better at making rice wine, which should be delicious, right?
It tastes like a really bad version of soju. Really, really bad, for real.
You would think after all these years of making rice wine, he would have perfected the taste. Truly unfortunate. Now again, any amount of alcohol is unhealthy for you. It will affect your sleep quality. It definitely affects mine, and I didn't need Sleep Cycle to tell me that. Although it does tell me in a nice, easy to read format. And if you keep drinking alcohol day after day or week after week and so on, it will diminish your quality of life over time. However, this man absolutely does not care at all. He's downing rice wine like it's rice water and chain-smoking cigarettes with ease. He also claims he does want to sleep, so why hasn't he gotten any help from qualified physicians to diagnose his treatment and figure out what's going on so that this man can get some much-needed shut-eye? God knows. Drew even offers to pay for his hospital bill if he's willing to go, but they just ignore the question and move on with the video.
Maybe I can send him to the hospital. If he wants to go, I'll pay for his hospital.
It is definitely an incredible and shocking story that this man doesn't sleep. But he for sure needs some medical attention because this is not some crazy phenomenon where he has some kind of superpower, because the man looks tired. He looks exhausted. He looks like someone who hasn't slept in over 60 years. Now, sleep deprivation is a real thing, and anyone that hasn't slept for more than a few days can tell you that it really starts messing with your brain. You will become moody, begin forgetting things, and eventually start hallucinating. But it's not just the brain that's failing. Sleep deprivation can also cause the heart and other organs to start failing as well. Sleep is essential. We all need to rest.
There's no sleep in here. Sit up.
You have to sleep. Everybody has always slept.
So this guy must be getting some kind of sleep, or else he wouldn't let a 17-year-old have the Guinness World Book of Records for the longest person who's never slept. He would easily break the record. Now, there is a very rare disease that does affect a very tiny portion of the population, and it's called fatal familial insomnia, and it is terrifying. Fatal familial insomnia is a rare genetic degenerative brain disorder. We're off to a good start already. It is characterized by an inability to sleep, or insomnia, that may be initially mild but progressively worsens, leading to significant physical and mental deterioration. So these people are unable to fall asleep, and that lack of sleep kills them after 6 months because of organ failure. Heart problems, dementia, and all other sorts of complications cause them to pass. Now, I don't think this guy has that because it's a genetic disease and this guy doesn't have dementia or anything like that, and he's survived over 60 years by not sleeping. but I wanted to mention it just in case so you are aware of some kind of a disease that causes people not to sleep and kills them over time. Now, Drew is only with them for 24 hours in this video, so it's possible that he just kind of stayed awake for 24 hours the entire time to prove a point and to show that, hey, I don't sleep, I haven't slept for 60 years. Anybody, including myself, can stay awake for 1 to 2 days to try and prove a point and make some cool video or try to show everyone, hey, I don't sleep in 60 years, I've never done it. 24 hours of time is not enough to see what this guy's sleep habits are. Is he sleeping 30 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hours? We don't know. If only there was a way to track his sleep. So I do 100% believe that this man should see a qualified physician to kind of assess the situation and evaluate him and kind of treat him with medications or lifestyle changes, because the guy does get some sleep, just probably not any kind of quality deep sleep over time. He does also definitely have to reevaluate his sleep hygiene and lifestyle habits. Listen to a Huberman podcast for Christ's sake. And I'm going to end this video by showing you how cheap fruit is at Vietnam.
$10?
$10 for watermelon and oranges and dragon fruit and lychee.
Super cheap, huh?
That's like $80 at Whole Foods.